Today on Exploring Limitations, I'm gonna show you the only external piece of gear I need to shape sounds while recording, the SansAmp Paradriver DI. Here we go. Check it. I love the SansAmp Portastudio vibes. The preamps, the simple EQ, and so far almost everything that I've recorded is straight into the SansAmp. No outboard preamps whatsoever, unless you count this Echoplex preamp, which is really more of just a gain. But then came the SansAmp Paradriver DI by Tech21. I actually bought this unit 6-7 years ago, right when I moved to New York City, and used it mostly with upright bass on upright bass gigs. As my gigs shifted more to electric bass, it was sadly kind of put away and kind of forgotten about. What the heck was I thinking? This unit is extremely versatile. Basically, it's an active DI when engaged and a passive DI when not engaged, but the circuitry is so much more than that. To quote the manual,
Tech21 redefined the term direct box with the development of SansAmp tube amplifier emulation technology. For recording and live performances, our exclusive 100% analog circuitry delivers the sound of a mic'd up tube amp in a convenient direct box format.
Cool. Seriously though, for me, you really do get some nice tube sounds with this thing, including a bit of light compression. The experiment. So I'm gonna try to get straight to it. I've recorded, a couple days ago, a simple 4-track ditty with the 505 drum machine, the bass, baritone guitar, and a little kalimba action. I recorded once, tracking directly the old way without the SansAmp, straight into the SansAmp. And a second time I recorded with the SansAmp on every instrument. Here's some footage of me recording both with and without the SansAmp. So, over to you, other mate on tape man. What am I doing? Oh yeah, right now we are just going to track some instruments. First is going to be the drum machine without the SansAmp Paradriver. So here we go. Sick. All right, let's record it with the SansAmp Paradriver DI. Sound a little overdriven? Maybe. Same tune, same part with the SansAmp. Sick. That was the 505. Onto bass. Now we're gonna record the bass part without the SansAmp. Now I've got the bass going into the SansAmp, and just like the drums, you don't want to give too much bass. Be careful with that. Ooh, I already like that. Let's try that. All right, next is the guitar part. First, without the SansAmp, and let's just go for it. Now we're gonna add the SansAmp after the chorus. Okay, now I'm doing something a little bit different. Let's see, I've got a kalimba. I'm gonna use it kind of as a percussion instrument. Here we go, without the SansAmp. Now, we do it with the SansAmp. Do it with the SansAmp. Okay. You just heard tracks being recorded individually without the SansAmp and with the SansAmp, but now is for the real kicker. Can you tell the difference when I play the full song, all the instruments together, with the SansAmp and without the SansAmp? SansAmp. So there you have it. Could you tell which one was which? I mean, this is a casual test. It was pretty easy. The first one was without the SansAmp. The second one was with. So there you have it. Drastic difference in sound between tracking the old way that I used to and then putting all the instruments through this. I'm curious, did you have a preference between those two tracks? I'm gonna say right away, I don't think I dialed in a great sound with the drum machine on this with the SansAmp. But maybe that's just because I'm so used to hearing the way I record it directly in. It's not terrible. I'm also curious, do you have a desert island piece of gear? Something that you use almost every time that you record or use every time that you record? I think it's really interesting to have a piece of gear that's inspiring to you. And it doesn't have to be anything big, doesn't have to be anything fancy. For me personally, it's more inspiring when it's kind of limiting, when it's a one-trick pony. Sometimes that's where you get those creative juices really flowing. I definitely had fun doing this experiment, and I will definitely be using the SansAmp more in the future. Probably not on every instrument and every track, but it'll certainly come into play when I want to open up certain sounds. It definitely is a lot easier the drive knob is so much fun. Well, stick around to hear the entire tracks toggled back and forth. But with that, as always, peace and be good to each other. I had to say it. SansAmp.
Cool.